Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Concordia University's Fourth Space. Thank you for joining us for the second part of today's event. The title, What Does It Mean to Be a Migrant Man in Canada? A critical exploration of South Asian men and masculinities in Canada's multicultural landscape. Now, this is the second part. This is a roundtable discussion, and the title for that is Redefining South Asian Masculinities in the Canadian Context. And we've set a little bit of a different layout today. This really is a roundtable discussion. So people joining us at the table, just pass the microphones around so that we can hear online as well. And those of you joining us on Zoom, please just know that if you have any comments or questions, you can pop those into the chat. Okay. It's now my pleasure to pass the microphone over to Concordia Public Scholar and doctoral candidate in social and cultural analysis at Concordia, Abu Saleh Mohammad Sowad. Over to you.
Thank you again, Doug. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to today's Research Spotlight event. What does it mean to be a migrant man in Canada? A critical exploration of South Asian men and masculinities in Canada's multicultural landscape. As promised, this segment of today's event includes a roundtable discussion on negotiating gender roles in diasporic spaces, challenges and strategies with Bangladeshi students to delve deeper into the personal experiences of negotiating gender roles in diasporic spaces. This is an interactive event, and I encourage everyone to share your perspective, experiences, and insight throughout our time together. Today, we aim to unpack some of these challenges that Bangladeshi students and Bangladeshi male students, to be exact, face, and also looking at the strategies and tools they found to helpful in navigating these complexities. I would like to thank Bangladeshi Graduate Student Association for their collaboration in making this roundtable happen. It's through spaces like this we can learn from each other, foster community, and continue building solidarity as we negotiate not only our gender roles, also the many other intersections that shape our lives in this diaspora. So let's dive into the meaningful conversation. So I will request from my right to please introduce yourself. Use the microphone there.
Hello, everyone. My name is Gaurav. I'm currently pursuing my master's degree in information systems security at Concordia University. I'm from Bangladesh. So it has been 1.5 years in Canada. And so far, it has been a great journey.
Hello everyone, Shubhodip Adhikari here, doing my master's in industrial engineering, and I started my journey on fall 23. I'm in September 2023. Till now it has been a great journey, and after coming here, I have met a lot of people, the Bangladeshi people over here. They were always very cooperative, and the journey till now is very good. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Shalini Toscano, and I'm involved with the organization Sayog Foundation, which provides support and resources to international students, and we're hoping to expand to other international students, especially within the South Asian community.
Hi, I'm Iktisad, and I came here around winter 2023 and recently graduated from Concordia. And I have been involved with the Bangladeshi Graduate Student Association for quite a while. Like after I graduated, of course, I passed it down to Mahim. And that's pretty much it. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I'm Tawhidul Islam and currently pursuing my master's in information system security. I came here in last winter and so far it's been 1 year. Yeah, that's pretty much. Thanks.
Hello everyone, my name is Prashanto. I've been here, it's been only 1.5 months. Currently enrolled to pursue a master's in information system security. And so far the journey has been pretty good. Yeah, thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Mahim. I'm doing my master's in software engineering. I'm almost near to my graduation. Also, I'm the current president of Bangladeshi Graduate Student Association. So first of all, thank you, Mr. Sowad, for trying to collaborate with us and giving us the platform to speak and express ourselves from a different perspective. I'm also glad whoever came here. So we have students who just came to Canada for a month ago and someone who just graduated, and all of us are in different timeline of our journey in Concordia. So hopefully it's going to be very interactive and fun session, and we can hear more about everyone's insights. Thank you.
thank you everyone for sharing your names and your background. So without further ado, let's dive into our discussion today, that is negotiating gender roles in diasporic spaces, challenges and strategies. So I will ask the first question, and Mahim, you can start and we'll go around. What are the first 5 words or qualities that pop up in your mind when you hear the word man?
Okay, if I don't think, 5 words would be hardworking, then finance, what else?
Is that hard?
It seems hard, like, because honestly, I didn't know like how the round is gonna go, what kind of question might pop up, so I have to just think a bit.
Okay.
But I didn't want to think because it has to be like on spot and what comes in my mind. Okay, hardworking, finance, care, responsibilities, and like masculinity itself, like that sigma masculinity, you have to maintain that. So I would go with these 5 words.
Prashanta?
The words that pops up in my mind, that is also like hardworking, then responsibility, time management, then commitment, and also responsibilities. Like that's
Things are pretty much similar, like strong, then careful, family man, obviously physically and financially both be strong, and I would say sincere.
Thank you.
I'll just add to their words. That's just one word. He has to be a provider. So I'll pass on the mic.
So the first thing that I thought, as soon as you said that, man, I thought father, brother, partner, friend, and partner. So more on a relationship aspect as opposed to the other characteristics.
I want to add one more word, that's resilient. What does basically they always try to like hide their emotion. Whenever they hurt, they don't want to express it. And also one more thing, the other words are quite similar with others, like they want to be a provider, and also they are family oriented. They want to focus on their traditions, they're traditional as well. That's it.
Okay, so most of the words have been covered, but I would like to add like expectations, because coming from a South Asian background, I've seen that like families do expect a lot more from the man part of the family. Then it also relates with the courage that man has to take some risks for the family sometimes, and authoritative behavior. So these are the like most of the things that comes into my mind when I hear the word.
Okay, so if I just leave Shalini out of this conversation for a bit, because your answers were from relational perspective, as you said, all the other words I got, hardworking, financial, care or caring, having responsibilities, time management, commitment, strength, financially and culturally, family oriented, sincere, provider, resilient, emotionally stoic, traditional, expectation, and authority. This all portrays a rather strong picture of, let's say, a mountain rather than a sea. So, and I just left one word that Mahim mentioned, masculinity. So, what do you think about this word masculinity specifically?
Okay, so when I hear the word masculinity, it's a certain behavior or an identity of a man that what we have learned throughout our life, or we have seen it from the society. So, I mean, that's the literal meaning, but I mean, it also comes with the responsibility and everything, the social status of a man, what other members of family and society expects a man to function in the society. So in summary, I would say it's an identity plus the things that a man is supposed to do in a society or in a family.
Masculinity, if I want to divide this term into categories, if I define as a toxic masculinity, that will lead towards domination. Like men want to dominate the, it might be his better half or partner or the whole society he wants to affect. And if I want to be the soft core masculinity, that will mean he'll be a provider, he will be protective towards his surrounding, and also he gonna be handle everything with care, and he will be a responsible person as well.
You can use that mic as well. No.
So masculinity is mostly set by society standards, whatever roles that has been already set throughout the history. So to me, what masculinity is, what I have seen from my father, from my brothers, from my uncles, that they take responsibility and also own those consequences, own the decisions and their consequences. And that's pretty much it for now. That comes on top of my head.
Yeah, I'm also pretty much agreed with them. I think it's like a behavior of the man, like we see in our society, like if he is responsible, sincere, and is the provider of the family, that's all I understand by masculinity. Yeah.
Okay, everything is, I think, pretty much covered, but I would like to add, taking responsibility and taking the charge and be responsible for what are the consequences. That's it.
Yeah, Mahim. So as you introduced this word masculinity to the table, what did you understand when you said the word masculinity?
When I was suggesting the word, honestly, all the things Iktisad and Shubha mentioned, that provider, resilient, emotionally strong, I was thinking all those, so I just wanted to summarize everything in one word, and you just say masculine. But all those things honestly covers both male and female perspective. Everyone can be responsible, and all the terms we used. But from our South Asian perspective, the way we raised and the way we are taught from the family, that if you want to be masculine, these are the things you need to have. You need to be emotionally strong, responsible. You have to provide your partner. So in general, if you can't do this, they question your masculinity. No, so you are not fulfilling your responsibility as a person who identifies as a man. So that's what I was thinking.
Okay. Right now, next question, I'll just leave it on the table, and whoever wants to answer, and I'll take the lead from Shubha's answer, that he said, okay, toxic masculinity or toxic traits are bad, but being provider, being responsible, being family oriented is kind of soft sides of masculinity. But if we look at the answers like being strong, being provider, being resilient, being hardworking, does not really synonymize the word soft, right? So how do you compare this word that, okay, we are not toxic, we want to be soft masculine, if I take Shubha's word, but at the very same time, all the criteria you are mentioning are not these so-called soft characteristics, being emotionally stoic, traditional, authoritative, being resilient. These are not soft categories as we know it. So how would you see this?
As we are all from the South Asian background, maybe somehow in our head it is always being tough towards the environment is being the real masculinity in our head. So what I'm gonna say, hiding our own emotions is not equivalent to domination. So what I say, being dominant is toxic, but the other thing of you were mentioning to be strong,
resilient,
Yeah, so
traditional
these are
authority.
not actually softcore, right?
Okay.
Yeah, so, if I want to categorize the whole thing, the software version comes when I can handle something with responsibility and care.
Okay.
So I might not be emotionally stoic, or I don't need to be emotionally. I have to hold my emotions towards every circumstances. But when I'm being soft, what I meant is I can handle my family or my surroundings with care, and also I can be productive. So for that, if I even have to be, sometimes I have to be, sometimes even if I might be protective, or I might hold my emotion.
Anyone wants to add to him?
I would paraphrase the whole thing. Like what he said, that's totally correct. But if I paraphrase in one word, it would be respect. So if I get the question right, it was how toxic masculinity
Yeah,
and
I mean, as
soft
he
masculinity
mentioned,
comes together.
soft, yeah.
Okay, so toxic masculinity, I would say, if there is something that you feel you are on top of everything, considering the current situation and the moving world, no one is like on top of like anyone. Everyone is working together. If I think of Bangladesh, the things back like 15 years back, the way everything were working and the way society was working, now is totally different. All the female members of household are working as well. They're taking their responsibilities. They're making all the plans together. So everyone has the right to share their ideas and plan everything together. So I feel that's one thing which is taking our society even further. So if you're toxic, then what happens? You don't listen to your partner, you don't listen to your family. You feel like you are the topmost character in the whole house, and you have whatever decision you make is final. So no one can change that. You don't even listen to others' perspective. That's toxic. If you're in a relationship, you don't respect your partner, and you try to control the other person's life and perspective, that's toxic. So you, from your perspective, is feeling that's masculinity, but which is not. You are just like twerking the whole behavior and thinking something else. On the soft side, which I mentioned, is like you're saying the soft side of masculinity. That doesn't mean that you have to be vulnerable. You can be emotionally strong, but soft as in when your family members or partner need emotional support, you have to be there. You show that side of yourself. It's not like there is something bad and you are not showing any reaction. You can't be like that. By default, everyone, like, if I'm not wrong, what I have seen when I was growing up, that in general, the male person of the house is emotionally a bit stronger than the female one. On any news, it can be happiness, sadness, any sort of news. So they prefer to feel the emotional support from their partner, from the male partner. If I talk about typical relationship, in that case, if you deny that and you just ignore the whole thing, then you are not soft. So that doesn't go with your responsibility as well. That's how I would say, like, the toxicity and the softness comes from like that.
Okay, thank you so much.
Sharani wants to share something.
So basically, when you're talking about toxic masculinity and vulnerability, you're talking about making space for the members of the family so you can be open to their vulnerability. But what about the man's own vulnerability, right? Like the man himself should give himself space to be vulnerable. Yes, they are there to be providers and to be strong, but they also have to realize that they're human at the end of the day, and that it's okay for men to cry. It's okay for men to lean on their partner, their spouses, their wives for help. It's okay to, cry on their shoulders, because life is hard and there are going to be circumstances where you need to be able to open up to people. And the reason why I'm saying this, I didn't mention this to you guys earlier, but I lost my husband to suicide, and he struggled with depression when he arrived to Canada. So I was born and raised here. He was born in India, and he didn't have realistic expectations of what life in Canada would be like as an immigrant and what it would be like in the beginning. And I tried to get him help, took him for marriage counseling, so on and so forth, sought out help from suicide organizations to help him out. But the thing that was one of his issues that he expressed was that throughout his life, anytime he tried to express his feelings, they were dismissed or shut down. So after that, he just stopped because he felt like he didn't have a place to speak and share those feelings. And that's the case for a lot of men, where they don't feel like they can express their vulnerabilities, fears, and so on and so forth, because they're concerned that they're going to be seen as lesser of a man. So that's something like that's very important, that you need to be able to make room, as much as you make room for other people's vulnerability, make room for your own vulnerability as well. It's okay to not be okay.
Yeah. So that's really, first of all, I'm very sorry that whatever happened. I just want to add that when I mentioned that now, the thing you said, that's totally true, and it used to happen like all over our like adulthood, like the transition when we're growing up. But when I said now everyone is trying to work together and the female persons are coming up, they're like communicating more and better. That's what I meant. So now they're eventually, they feel that it's okay to not be okay. They're sharing more. They're trying to like, even with friends, like if I think of myself like 10 years back, if I had some bad news or I had to share something, I would have hesitated like to share it even with my friends. Now I'm like open with anyone that, okay, this is what I'm feeling. I don't feel good. What do you think? I take suggestions, even if I'm in my worst scenario. So I think over time, people are realizing that it's important for like even men to share their emotions, to feel like not feel burdened with all the emotional stress and everything. So I think we are going there where we're like trying to build that threshold that even we can share and talk. So even with parenthood, I think our, if you think our last generation of parents, the way we were raised, now we have better perspective of life, how we can raise our child, we can think of that. So now when we will be raising our child, we have that perspective of it. They might be going through all this, and it's okay for them to share with us. So we can take those steps so they don't feel left alone, even though they're men, we don't impose anything on them. So yeah, hopefully things will be getting better.
Thank you, Mahim, for bringing up this issue of parenthood and our role of our family in building our construction of masculinity, how we come to this world to be a man. And so my question to the table now is, do you think your Bangladeshi cultural belief or your family values of how to be a man influences how you see a man's role in the family?
So yes, basically in the past, this kind of concept was there. But as Mahim Bhai mentioned, these things are changing day by day. So they are open to new, like passing their responsibilities to the women as well. As we can see in Bangladesh, the women are already taking their charges, numerous fields, right? So yes, this trend like masculinity is changing, and women are getting space to express their feelings, taking charges and responsibilities. Sometimes they take charges over men as well, right? So this kind of thing we are seeing nowadays. So that's the changing is happening nowadays, and everybody is appreciating the women's behavior, role, and their contribution to the society in the country itself. Thank you.
Yeah, I also like to add that things are getting progressive. Their minds are also changing. That women also need to like approach themselves in the job field and all. So they are sharing their space side by side, and like our generation is also understand these progressive thoughts, and yeah, things are getting better nowadays.
I would like to ask you, what did you really ask? To rephrase the question.
Yeah, sure. So do you think your cultural beliefs, values, views of how to be a man influences how you see a man's role in the family?
Of course, a lot of things, because we are programmed that way from the start of our childhood. So depending on how much what we see, a lot of it is defined that during that period and the amount of time we spend in the country. So coming here, I believe there is a lot to like accept and be open to. And about gender roles, I believe in equity. Some places we are better, some places women are better. And that's a lot. That's pretty much it.
Hello. Sorry for being late.
It's all right.
Actually, I think nowadays there is no differences between men and women in every sector in Bangladesh as well. Nowadays, if men taking any charges in family, and there is also the another charges from women as well. I think if women are not working or she is housewife, we can think that she is doing nothing. She is doing every household work. If I fed someone, I fed someone to, we are expending lots of money in laundry and house cleaning and something. If we thought in that way, we are saving lots of money, and he is saving lots of money for us as well. And in Bangladesh, I think every feminist mother is the first person who taught his or her child. So I think he's the first teacher of a person. He or she can be male or female as well. So I don't think there is any differentiate between men or masculinity with female. So this is a part of mine.
Points.
Yeah. Right.
So my friend has mentioned a lot about economics. Let's just blame the government making everything expensive for both of us to work.
So yeah, the question.
Would you mind?
Yeah, the question was, do you think your Bangladeshi cultural beliefs influence how you see a man's role in the family?
Definitely, because when I was growing up, I was always told that I'm the elder child in the family. So when I grow up, I have to take care of my dad and mom, and also I might need to take care of my younger brother. So it's not only about my family scenario. It's like almost 80% of the families that the elder child is bound to take care of the whole family when they're grown up. Even I have seen for the case of my dad as well. So this is just one example, but also when we grow up, this trait is not bounded by any religion. This is for all kind of religion and caste and all. So if a person is living as a middle class family or a upper class family, it's kind of same for both of the cases. And also as we grow up, we are built to take responsibilities. Because of this, also when the younger child who is in the family, they are not like at some age, when they are not grown up, like till 18, they don't take that much responsibility. But after one certain age, they also learn how to take responsibilities because they learn from the elder brother that how he's handling every single thing. And also about the beliefs, for now, that's all I have in my mind.
Yeah, so basically from Bangladeshi point of view, I would say like others have also mentioned the fact that it's changing nowadays, because what I have seen in my childhood that like from my friends or from my relatives, the dominance in the family from like of the male person, that the influence used to be much more than now. Like the newer generation husbands and wives are much more flexible in terms of sharing ideas, and the emotional intelligence, I think it also a fact in the family. So the domination and everything, I think is getting a bit reduced. But the thing is, in Bangladeshi society, it's mostly still male dominant. It depends on the regions. Like in our country, what I remember that there are some indigenous groups where the female is the most like the dominant or the decision maker. So, but that's just one or two groups, the indigenous groups. But overall in Bangladesh, still, I think it's still a bit more male dominant, but it's changing day by day. This definition would definitely be different in the other countries, especially in the Western countries. Maybe it's different in South Asian like community. There are different countries like such as India, Pakistan, or Sri Lanka. So it varies from region, from the social and cultural point of view. But all in all, like lastly, I can say that maybe in future generation, the difference will be much lesser than now.
I think they covered almost all the things, but I would like to add, I think all of our perspective, it comes from a specific area. I think most of us are from like big cities where it's true that everything is changing. But Bangladesh is not just one smaller two cities, it's like the whole country where we still have like a lot of rural areas where the things we're experiencing is totally still opposite. Maybe like where I was 15 years back, they're on that spot right now. So the female members are still facing those dominance, the toxic masculinity, which is very unfortunate, but starting slowly. So when you're talking about perspective, like whoever is joining online or watching the video later, like I just want to make sure like I clarify, it's not the whole Bangladesh, slightly changing from like a specific area, but still we're working on it. One more thing, if I want to add the family perspective, I was lucky enough to have very open-minded and helpful parent throughout my like life, and I'm grateful for that. So I was as I said, like they're very open. So I was lucky enough to have different types of talks, and I can ask like, okay, how should be my future? And my parents always supported me that if anything goes wrong and if I can't be successful, if I fail in certain way, they will have my back. And wherever I'm standing now, it was them, specifically like emotionally, my mom, and like financially, and even emotionally, it's my father who supported me all along. But I know still there are so many families where the child can't talk with their parents. They never had the talk that how will their future be, what they will do, their transition from childhood to adulthood. They face so many issues they can't share. So how they learn is just seeing the society and internet. Obviously in internet we have good side and bad side, and as you're growing from childhood to adulthood, you don't have the like I would say skill set to justify which one is right, which one is wrong. So you might be growing up learning something that you're not supposed to learn, or that you're supposed to not practice. So that's what I mentioned earlier, the new generation of parenthood, where you will have the flexibility to talk and learn more about masculinity, that what should be your role. Even females, like I don't have a sister, so for me and my younger brother, both of us like males, so for us we have to be the provider. But I have my cousins who are females, and I know all of them are working. So they're also, we don't have the discrimination of male and female. I think that's because of the generation transition that I was mentioning. So yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Mahim, for bringing out really important issue that we are not representing the whole Bangladesh, and I would rather say we are the very privileged few who could come to Canada to pursue our studies, higher studies. So whatever is said in this table does not reflect the whole Bangladesh. Still, a lot of Bangladeshi people live under the poverty line, and at the very same time in very traditional families who are, as Mahim said, still struggling to view, even when these guys are 18, 20 years old, they still struggle to share their views with their parents. So as we had our ground now on Bangladeshi masculinity, and I'm really happy that I'm with new generation of men who are more open and more cooperative with their partners and believes in equity and equality. So I would just ask you one question before we go to our next segment. Do you think that this construction of masculinity, all the characteristics that we discussed, have something to do with our body or our biology? Yeah, Iktisad can start. Yeah.
Of course, biology has a big role to play here. The more testosterone you have, the more kind of masculine you are. It shows the traits. The more dominating nature you'll have, So that's pretty much I have to add.
Yeah, I'm kind of agree with him, and I think yes, men are be more masculine, but they should be more controlling as well. If you have more power, you should be more controlling power as well. Because if you have more power, it can be so destructive as well. So that's why I think women have to be controlling.
Okay, so yeah.
I'd slightly disagree. But, I mean, it's not only about the physical, strength and everything. It also depends on the mindset. I have seen like families where, it's not that everyone has a very good, like every male is physically very strong, but they are very much cooperative. And in some families, we can see that the female counterpart is like almost like equivalent, like they just participate in everything. So physical thing, yes, there is a side naturally, or like men are meant to be stronger than females. But when it comes to masculinity, the like practice of dominance, then I think the mindset has like a bigger role than the biological part.
Yeah.
I agree with Gaurav bhai. The thing is, the dominance practice is in our head. So it's not about the physical fitness or something, because if I want to just generalize, Bengali men are not physically the fittest creation at all. So that no, I'm talking in general because we don't look. So the thing is, even the families who don't have any male child in their family, so even the women who are what we say, the elder sister, or the person the couple who don't have any male kid, they teach their female child to be the provider from the very early age. Like if a person who has a woman who has only a single daughter, and he always wants her daughter to be to pay her own bills after 18, not even after 18, maybe the guardian wants that her daughter someday gonna be a provider for them. So it's not about someone has to be man or someone has to be masculine with the physical fitness. Even if someone is woman, sometimes she is bound to be a provider. And also, if it's about the physical fitness, I think the physical fitness doesn't. Did you ask about the physical fitness or the health biology?
No, we were talking about how these things work, like, yeah, biology, yeah.
The
Biology.
man biology,
Yeah.
okay. So the man biology makes it, if someone is physically fit, he has good genes, things are easily accessible for him, because a physically fit man is more capable to do things. But even the person who's working in a desk, like not working a labor job, he can be a provider and he can be a protector of his family as well. But the people who actually are living in the rural areas, who are basically working as labor, they need the physical fitness, because if a person is not hardworking enough, and when he's the only provider of his family, and nowadays we see a lot of guys are doing TikToks and earning money, being social media influencers. So they don't need the physical fitness to do all this. But sometimes they also, if he's like physical fitness influencer, he needs to be. But the person who's working as a laborer in the rural areas, so he's for that case, he needs to be physically fit, because he has no other options. He doesn't have the education to divert his career to other cases. So yeah, sometimes it depends on in which profession he's taking.
Okay.
Thank you.
So as you have the microphone, you can start answering the next question. So do you think Bangladeshi men and Canadian men are different, and can you give some examples if you think so?
I would like to pass the mic now.
Okay, Gaurav.
Okay, so different in terms of like which context? If you ask about like physically,
No, overall, how a man should be in Bangladesh and how a man is or man should be in Canada. Do you see any differences? In the
yeah, I mean,
perspective?
well, it varies from person to person. But what I
Overall,
see that
generally.
like in my 1.5 years of experience in Canada, that maybe Canadian men are a bit more flexible towards sharing ideas. In Bangladesh, yes, what I have said before, that things are getting like, it's changing. Our previous generation, like in our previous generation, it used to be a bit more dominant, like male counterpart used to be a bit more like in the decision-making role, but it's changing. But I think here, men's are a bit more flexible in terms of sharing ideas with their female counterparts. And the thing is, the physical differences are like, it will definitely be
Yeah.
there. It depends on the ethnic group that you are from.
That's true,
But
yeah.
it also depends on the education. It depends on your maturity level. So, it's a relative thing. I wouldn't categorize it as these are like the Bangladeshi men are like these or the Canadian men are like these. It's a pretty subjective thing, in my opinion.
Mahim, as you were mentioning about Bangladeshi men are now changing, our generation, I would rather say your generation, I'm pretty older, so are changing. So do you see any difference between Canadian men and Bangladeshi men from your perspective?
I would add two things. First, regarding, I think like we are going way too very specific on fitness and physical appearance.
yeah.
So from my
That's not our target,
perspective, masculinity has nothing to do with your physical appearance. It's all about your psychology and how you think. Because all the things I think we categorized, none of them has anything to do with your physical appearance. It's all about like, for example, responsibility, respect, your mental state. So, and like physical appearance, it really depends on your where you're born and your specific genes. So we have no control over that. But masculinity is something that we can grow and we can practice. So it's all about practice. I think Gaurav mentioned it was practice, so I think that was pretty good. And regarding if we say that Canadian male and Bangladeshi male, the only difference, I would say how they grow up. Because the practice, I think we all kind of practice the same thing. And I'm mentioning about growing up because if I want to like generalize a bit more, rather than Canadian male, I would say male from other different countries because I hardly interacted with Canadian male friends because most of my friends are from like other regions, like not from South Asia, but other parts of the world. So I'm gonna just make it a bit broader. And I realized it depends on the culture, how they grow up. So still there are some places where they are taught to be dominant, but in some places they are taught to be like more flexible and have that emotional space for both the person. In Canada, I think they have more flexibility of talking to their parents, learning a bit more about how they grow up, what things they should do, what they should not do. So I think that's the only difference that we have. Otherwise, we kind of practice the same thing. We always try to be on the upper hand, but being flexible as well. So
Differences between Bangladeshi men and Canadian men.
Actually, I don't have that much knowledge as I'm new here. I didn't have that privilege to interact with the Canadian men people actually. But from my past experiences and the present experiences with the other rest of the world men's, I don't have that much idea actually. So I'm still experiencing, learning. Then I would have idea on that. But if I talk to my from my point of view, masculinity, I actually disagree. It never depends on your physical fitness. It basically relies on your mental mentality and your set of goals, right? So yes, that's the thing.
Actually, I'm like, so for my like 1 year of experience, what I see or saw in the like my workplace, that Canadian men are like more expressive. They are liberal. They are like progressive, and like they don't want to keep their emotions. Like, but in terms of like our people, like from Bangladesh, they like to keep their like emotions. Like they feel shy to share about their thoughts, like what other people will see, or they will like think about themselves. So I think there is a little bit like difference in between mental terms. So that's all I like see so far from my experience.
Iktisad?
Thank you.
Yeah, for me, I have always interacted with immigrants, mostly. I do not know even if they're Canadian or not. They're Canadian by citizen.
Yeah.
So what I felt is it's the geographic location that matters. So considering the men are kind of fit here because of the schooling they go through, it's not only sports what they go through. They have a completely like organized schooling, like they can think beyond science. They can think about arts, they can think about culture, they study about it, they go into leadership positions, like they do scouting, they do a lot of things that's fairly less in Bangladesh. It's not, I'm not saying it's not there, but it's not that popular, because if we study in our country, if we study anything less than science, we are not even considered people.
That's so true, I do agree.
So that's what I think differentiates us. Like the openness these men have is because of the exposure they have, and we are just very limited to a certain cult of science.
Thank you so much, Iktisad. That is really important, that these men are exposed to arts and culture and other than just the hard science. So it impacts how you grow up as a person, right? When you have the whole world view open to you. And we want to add something.
I want to add, sorry to cut you off. The thing is, Iktisad Bhai was saying that they can think, the Canadians, they can think out of the box, right? So from our culture, we are much, as I mentioned, we are connected to a certain things or certain emotions. Then we can't even think that out of the box, and we get stress. We take so much stress and get tiredness. We can't deal with our, sometimes we can deal with our emotions as well. And she mentioned it is okay to not to be okay, but we are, our genes are that we don't express ourselves that much. We keep it in ourselves actually, and this is pretty bad. And day by day, when a lot of things are going on with you, you get stressed, tired, and nobody has to talk. So at that time, you feel yourself down and left alone. That's the thing, I'm guessing.
I think these are the exact things that has to be addressed in Bangladesh. What brother has said. So that again shows what I actually tried to imply, that we are scoped and we are produced as workers, not thinkers.
Exactly. That's why I am totally agreeing with you.
I have a question. I don't know if you have this on your list of questions, but I'd like to know what were some of the challenges that each of you have faced coming here, challenges, struggles that you faced coming to Canada, and what would have made it easier for you?
That was actually my next question. Yeah, thank you, Shalini.
Actually, there is lots of barrier actually in Bangladesh. Firstly, there is language barriers and the cultural barriers. We have to adapt a new culture here, and we have to do what will happen there or something like that. We have to prepare our mindset as well. So firstly, we have to have financially stable actually before coming here. Is the first thing in Bangladesh. Whenever a student come here, he always thinks, okay, I have to be financially stable to come here. Secondly, you have the mindset, okay, I will adapt there. Because the culture shock is very, because we are in different culture actually. The South Asian culture and the Canadian culture is very difficult for us to cope up. And I think it's mainly depend on your mindset actually. If you think you can cope up, okay, you can go. Rather than this, I don't think so. You have that much sustainability to here. As all the brothers mentioned earlier, if you fail to cope up in this environment, then it can be very depressing because here is no one. We came from those families where all the family members, cousins, everyone lives in same houses on same area. So we have families to take care of us. If we fail low in any situation, they can back us. If you need anything financially or mentally, they can help us. But here is no one. You have to be the first provider of yourself. You only on you. So I think this is the thing here.
The question was it like before you came here, what was the barrier you faced, or after you?
Shalini can rephrase.
Once you arrived to Canada, what were the challenges and struggles you faced, and what would have helped you?
No, Shalini.
Okay, so I would just summarize in one line: you suffer from identity crisis. Identity crisis. So what happens? Because I left my home like back in 2016 for my studies, and I was in some other country from undergrad. Then I moved here, so I was never like, since once you leave like Bangladesh, your friends, your family, you are never like part of Bangladesh anymore. Once I go back home, I'm just a guest visiting for like a month. My friends, when they text me, they invite me for their wedding, for their like events, and they try to like just see me once when I'm visiting Bangladesh. So technically, and also like when I left Bangladesh, I didn't even have my own like national ID card, so I only had my passport. It sounds weird, but you don't even feel that like people are looking at you in the same way. Once you move to Canada, so you are neither Bangladeshi or you're neither Canadian. You're just an immigrant who is looking for his identity, that either you'll go back home and create your own identity, or you will do something here and make your own identity. So I think that's the only thing that you face once you come here.
You can just go around.
What is the question about?
So the question is, what have been the challenges that you've experienced, the struggles and challenges you've experienced since you've come to Canada, and what would it be?
Actually, I will agree with the brother. He said that identity crisis, and another thing is the family and friends and your loved ones, right? You left all your connections or all your family members, friends back in Bangladesh. So here is no one is there for you, and actually no one is there for me, where I can put my whom I can share my emotions, or let's say I can cry to someone that by sharing my feelings. There is no one. So that's the main challenges, I guess. And emotionally, we have to be fit, financially as well. So the first things pop up my mind while I was in the border or in the airport, that I'm leaving all my friends, family, and my emotions there. There is no one to take care of. If you feel sick, you have to take care of yourself. If you are thirsty, you have to fill your own glass with water, right? So that's the thing I'm experiencing here. And another thing is the educational system, right? Back in Bangladesh, we were trained that this is the way, but back in after coming here, the system totally changes. Not very difference between Bangladesh and Canada, but some changes are definitely there. Exactly, that's what I'm facing here a lot, and I'm not struggling, but I'm trying to acquainted with the system. So that's the thing I am here for, and from time to time I have to adapt this system. That's the thing actually. Thank you.
So in Bangladesh, I already lived around 2 decades. So like when I came here, like I need to start from the scratch, because I need to like provide myself and all the barriers. Like I need to study and work. I need to like balance both of them. And the second thing I would like to add, that like the separation from family, that I can't like, it's good that we have friends here, but like the family members, the blood link connections, that we like don't find here. So that's the thing I like struggle most, like to share my thoughts, like to like keep my emotions and like more expressive. There is no chance to be like to my friends. I can tell something that I can't tell to my like family members and all. So That's two things I like to add. Thank you.
So the challenges that I faced would be cooking and grocery. I was born with a golden spoon. I never had to cook, do grocery or anything. So coming here, I felt I'm reborn as a person.
I agree with you.
So I think that's the challenge. If I knew how to cook, if I knew how to like go to groceries, buy vegetables which are fresh, or chicken, how to slice chicken. I still don't know how to slice chicken. I call my friend to do it for me. So these are the things that if I knew better would be helpful. And the other thing is, since I have not lived alone, rather lived with my family most of the time, I did and had our own transportation, not like I didn't need to navigate on foot. So these were the things, if I did earlier in my country, younger days, then it would have been easier for me to cope a bit more. But however, I have overcome the challenges and I feel really good coming here as well.
Shubha?
Thank you. It was about the challenges after I landed over here. Okay. So apart from the financial challenges, the first thing I faced, like in my country, I was easily accessible to anybody. Like I would ask for help to anyone easily without any hesitation. But after coming here, I was feeling like the first thing I did was I was hanging out with my own country people, and I also got help from other sides. But also when I got my first job over there, I felt, because I haven't even changed the garbage bag in my country. So because after coming here, when I was started doing the jobs, I was in a big hesitation, like, oh God, I can't even tie a garbage bag. How come I landed over here? Like how I have passed 25 years of my life. The cooking things and also doing the grocery. I used to do all these things back in my country as well, but also one more, I think everybody can relate with the cooking and doing the grocery. And after coming here, when I thought that, yeah, I have grown up now, that going for grocery makes me happy. Also, when I got to introduced with other people over here who are basically Quebecois, or to be specific, Canadians, they are very cooperative. And the other challenges was all about, as I have lived always with the people from my country, I didn't had any other challenges, but the cultural shock happened to all of us, I think. We were not ready to easily start a conversation with the other people who are from here. And should I also add the previous question answers?
Yeah, sure, go on.
Okay, so specifically the differences between Bangladeshi man and Canadian man could be about the culture, like, and also about conversations, like Bangladeshi men are not easily, they express their feelings or express what they are feeling inside. They hesitate, and I think there is a thin line, like a man, when they are expressing about their trauma or their sadness, they can express it to a certain level. They can't dig inside more. Like I can only express what I'm feeling to that certain level when that person can't make a mockery out of me. But on this case, according to the Canadian men, they can easily share with other people, because overall the people over here are very less judgmental, and the people who are from South Asia, they're very judgmental. So we are always very much in our head. It's always, if I say more about my trauma, definitely they're gonna say bullshit about me to 10 other people, and it's in fact it's gonna hurt me more in the long run. And also I think over here any Canadian man can easily, they're very cooperative and they can easily start casual conversation with anybody, but we are not that much free with to start a conversation with others. Yeah, if you want to add something.
I just want to add with Shubhadeep, that's the right word is, in my opinion, is biasness. We get easily biased. So that's the thing.
Talking about the challenges that I faced after arriving here, I would say apart from the financial and emotional stuffs, I struggled with time management because knowingly or unknowingly, we are much more dependent on our family members. When we were in Bangladesh, mom used to cook most of the times and the other things as well. I mean, I felt like I had more time in a day in Bangladesh, but when I came here, I felt like my days are not like 24 hours. It's like 5 hours or 6 hours, doing everything, waking up in the morning, making the breakfast, then classes, events, then groceries. So that, I had to reorganize my time, the tasks that I do, like putting them in the Google Calendar or making a to-do list. So that's one of the areas. And other than that, the adaptability with the new society, people are very friendly here. That's a positive thing. So, and other than that, the weather was a bit harsh because coming from a tropical country, I had to, adapt with the weather in my first winter, though it was a bit milder last time. This one. And the cooking that Iktishad mentioned, yes, I didn't have much experience with the cooking, but after coming here, it was pretty terrible. Thanks to YouTube, it got better over time. I think now it takes much less time than it used to be. So all in all, it's like, I'm being much more independent, and I can manage myself better than how I used to in Bangladesh.
However, I'll just add one thing about cooking, not grocery and other things. For my PhD, I talked to a lot of men and their female wives or their colleagues as well. What I saw, it is a generational thing. I guess women of your generation, they don't also know how to cook, who are from Bangladesh. I guess you would agree, because in our previous generation, our parents, they used to take care of the children, right? And they also, this is the way we all grew up. So even if it's not thing that we are men, that's why we don't know how to cook, most of our female friends, they also learned to cook when they moved here. And as I'm an international student as well, I will also answer to your question of all these challenges, but I'll go back 10 years. So when I first left my country for my master's, and yes, I did not have any idea whatsoever how to cook. It is thanks to my flatmates. We used to live in a dorm. We were 6 in one apartment, and my Chinese flatmate had a rice cooker. So she showed me how to use the rice cooker to cook rice, because my mom always cooked rice on stove, and obviously I didn't know how to cook rice. And other curries, either I had to call my mom, or I also took that book with me, Ranna Khaddo Pushti. It is a really famous book in Bangladesh. If anyone leaves the country, takes that book, Ranna Khaddo Pushti, because it is the basic know-how of cooking. So yes, and I also, as a silly thing, I also didn't know that when you microwave your rice, you should sprinkle some water so it becomes softer, right? One of my friends told me over when I was just complaining with her, hey, it is so much harsh, the rice is not good. She was like, yeah, you should sprinkle some water on that. Okay, that's a nice point. So yes, cooking, it's not just a main thing, it's just the generational thing, I would rather say. But doing groceries, yes, I never went, I just did some small time groceries because again, my dad used to do that. So yes, these are the things we all first struggled as well. Yeah, you are going somewhere.
Before I go to my answer, I want to just add. So for me, it was very easy because I was part of Boy Scout and I have been cooking when I was a child. I used to go to camps for 7 days, 10 days, and I had to cook. So I didn't have a choice because I'm in a jungle in a tent and I have to cook my food. So I learned when I was a child. And grocery back in Bangladesh is scattered. You have everything around, but when you move to other countries, very compact. Nowadays we have those supermarkets where we have everything together. But if you think when I was a child, it used to be mostly from we call it bazaar, everything there. Yeah, so you have to walk around, find. So it was very easy, you get everything in one place. So the thing I wanted to add, that one more barrier we face is mental barrier. You have that expectation, not from other person, it's your self expectation. Because when you're leaving one country and moving to some other place, you set certain set of goals that, okay, once I go, I will get a job, I will have like this much grades in my score, I'll make friends. So eventually you're doing everything, but always there is like back in your mind, there is something bugging you. Okay, am I doing it right? Am I going in the right path? Do I have enough friends? Am I gonna get a job? Like, will I be like able to live up to expectation of my parents or my partner, whoever is back in home? Because when I'm leaving, it's even their expectation that one day I'll be successful, even though they don't like expect anything in return, but they want me to like be happy and reach there someday. So even though it's like a long shot, but as soon as you reach, there's the things like which runs behind your mind that you have to do all those and come up with something better. So
Yeah, thank you, Mahim. And Shalini, if you remember from our first session in the morning, this thing came up also when we had this very academic discussion in this morning, that burden of expectation, the moral policing, the judgment of South Asian communities. So it is interesting that now we are all sharing our lived experiences, right? And in the morning, the session was mostly academic. We are talking about theories and everything, but still, these things are very much practical. So there I see the bridge between academia and real life experiences. So the next question would be, can you mention one thing that in your construction of idea of masculinity that changed after coming to Canada? That I know you are new generation of men, and you, as you said, but even in Bangladesh, the traditional construction of masculinity does not exist anymore, at least for your generation. But can you remember one thing that has changed in your idea of masculinity after coming here? You can start.
for me, I can't think of anything because it's pretty much same. Like the day I landed, I came like a week late of my classes started. So the day I landed, I started living that Canadian student life. The next day, I had to come in the morning. The next day, I had to come to the university at morning. I didn't even have the time to like figure out where my class and how does the campus look like. So I had to do everything like throughout the term, like slowly. So I think it's pretty much similar. I think the new students who came new, they can have like better perspective.
I would not say it's about masculinity. I would say it's my limitation that I also don't know how to cook and how to do all the groceries and even take care of the thing is in the bazaar, as we some of you mentioned earlier, in the same place under the same umbrella we used to find all the things. You have to just negotiating, right?
Yeah.
And here we have to look around all the grocery stores who are offering the lowest price, right? So this is the main thing. And for cooking, I have to take care the cooking part as well. So these two things I am considering that changes from Bangladesh to Canada. And another thing is, even though I don't have to wash or laundry my clothes back in Bangladesh, but here I have to do it by myself, even though I'm not doing it physically, but yeah, this is the changes I am experiencing for now. And another thing is, while I was in my as a teenager, I didn't have to look any kind of job. But here I have seen a lot of Canadians or other nationalities as well. They look for a job at the early age. This is kind of a good thing. From time to time, it really teaches you being self-independent and taking care of yourself financially, emotionally, as well as mentally. That's the thing I would like to say. That's it. Thank you.
The changes I feel like back in Bangladesh, my mom used to take care of the kitchen and she used to cook and she used to feed for the full family. But my family is like liberal, so it's not that like I was not welcome in the kitchen. I was also welcome, but it's my limitation that I didn't express or explore that way. So the thing is like when I'm here, so I feel the change that like I need to also to cook. I need how to cook and all. So these are the changes that I feel right now.
I would like to mention another thing. I am saying that preparing the food or cooking, I forgot to mention also cutting the veggies or meats. I don't know how to cut it or how to prepare the food as well. So that's the thing I am also experiencing here.
Iktisad, any changes in your idea of men, how a man should be after coming to Canada? Just one example.
Well, for me, it's the tonality, the way you speak. So in our country, the way we speak is slightly rough.
Yeah.
And if for a few days, like I went on doing that, people were quite offended. So then I understood, okay, something's wrong. Maybe the way I'm saying it, it's not sounding right. So I think that's where the improvement I have made.
Yeah, I think the communication is a barrier also. So I think I improved my communication actually. So it's a kind of differentiate, I can.
Shubho.
After coming here, I started to learn to be less judgmental, you know, because after coming here, in every steps, I shouldn't, maybe I should not open up like this, but in every steps, I felt that, yeah, when I was back in my country, I was very judgmental as a person. In some cases, I was not, there are some flaws in my morality as well. And also, maybe the way, I sometimes also got very astonished because in some scenarios, it's not the same the way I think and a Canadian colleague thinks. He thinks it very positively. And also, in some cases, I am really very, what should I don't even can say the proper term for it. Maybe I used to be lazy, but not to follow the rules, the proper process to do some task. But and it's about the discipline. Maybe I'm not disciplined enough. So after coming here, I have started to fix my disciplinary issues and also being a bit more rest to the people and also being less judgmental, because over here these things matters a lot, and that's the most dissimilarities I got between me and a generic Canadian person.
Yes, behavior is a very important thing, what Iktishad Bhai mentioned, that even I also face this a lot of times, that Canadians, usually they are very polite, and sometimes we cannot control our emotions in that way. Like I was talking with a support line a few days ago about something that I wasn't really happy about, and the person who was talking with me, the support agent, at some point she told me that, okay, I'm going to terminate your call if you raise your voice. I wasn't raising my voice. I said that I have nothing against you. It's not personal. It's like I'm showing you that I'm upset. But then I thought that maybe I was a bit like, too much expressive about my emotions. So I have noticed that they like to be treated in a polite way. In South Asia, we actually don't follow that too much. If we are angry, we unknowingly somehow express it. So that's the thing that I'm really careful when I'm communicating with someone from like a local Canadian. The patience is another thing that I think I'm much more patient, like my patience has increased than it was in Bangladesh. I used to be like impatient sometimes. I mean, here you need to wait. The waiting time is a bit longer for many things. So you just cannot get everything that you want instantaneously. And other points have already been covered by, other members already. So yeah, that's the two things that I wanted to mention.
Anyone that wants to add something? As we are almost at our time to wrap up, Shalini, I am looking forward to your words of wisdom.
My words
Yeah.
of wisdom?
I mean, yeah, how did you feel listening to them, and what are your views?
Well, I really appreciate the fact that you guys felt comfortable to share your stories, and that I hope you guys take this initiative and move forward with, what's the organization called? Lubdog. And probably try to set up some sort of a network where future students that come here are able to have the support that you probably didn't have when you came here.
Yeah, I mean, the Bangladeshi Graduate Student Association is currently doing that. Our Loopdoc's idea is to be a bit broader because, yes, the Graduate Student Association can support only the student, right? But when they go out, when they graduate, they do not fall into the purview of the BGS anymore. So who will give them the safe space to talk? So let's say Bangladeshi Graduate Student Association can be the first stepping stone, because when we are together, we know each other. When we graduate together, or maybe 1 year before or after, we can not sit under this umbrella, but we will have another umbrella where, because these are the same, very same people, right? So we can just sit under another broader umbrella to
Branch. So
just sit
basically
together
branch
and,
out,
yeah, branch
and
out.
then
Yeah.
once you completed your academic career.
I think that will be my last words that I want to say. I know that students who come here for the first time, and especially if they're leaving home for the very first time, it gets really hard. If you are working back in Bangladesh, you are used to living alone, things might be different, but someone like Iktisad, who was raised with a golden spoon, so if you're someone like that, it might be very hard at the beginning. So it's very easy to get carried away, get depressed, get stressed, and sometimes when you see things, you get overwhelmed. So I would say Concordia itself has so many services and supports. Even us as a student association, we are here. Even your friends are there. So if you ever feel anything, whoever is online or watching the video later, don't feel that you are alone. There is at least hundreds of other students who are going through the same phase. It's not just you. It can be finances, can be job, anything. So share, express your feelings, and take steps earlier until it's too late, and don't do anything wrong, basically. Yeah.
As Shalini said, it's okay not to be okay. So with that, we wrap up today's event. Thank you everyone who were watching online, and as Mahim mentioned, who will watch it later. And thank you for space. Thank you Douglas, Birdie, and everyone who were here supporting our event. And over to you, Douglas.
Well, I just want to send those thank yous right back to you. It was great to have you. Thank you both conversations today, but also this actually was just really great to have this roundtable discussion. It's something that we haven't really done before, was to have this kind of round the table, and just being able to speak freely and hear your comments was fantastic. So thank you so much. We're going to close up the Zoom and the live stream now. It remains available on our YouTube channel, so you can revisit it. You can share it also. I wish you a wonderful afternoon. Get out of here before all the snow arrives. Bye.